An eagle was tracked over a period of 20 years. The tracker was set up in Russia, and the eagle died in Saudi Arabia. It should be noted that the eagle avoided flying over the Caspian Sea, which might be taken as proof that eagles don't fly over water. This is the difference between the Netherlands and Holland. The Netherlands is the name of the country, while Holland is just a province. But Holland has become the informal name of the entire country, and people often confuse these names. The situation is not helped by the Dutch government either, who have named the tourism website of the country Holland.com. The record of the Spanish national football team against different European nations. Spain has a positive record against all the European opponents, except Germany, the Netherlands, and England. They are on an equal foot with Italy. Hurricanes are forbidden to cross the equator. This is a historical map of all the recorded storms, which shows that it is nearly impossible for hurricanes and cyclones to form within a few degrees of the equator and to cross it. This is due to the Coriolis effect. Hurricanes rotate due to Earth's spin, and they rotate counterclockwise in the northern hemisphere and clockwise in the southern hemisphere. For storms to cross the equator, they will need to change their direction, which weakens them, and they can't cross the equator. It is also interesting to see that South America and Africa are largely saved from sea storms. Cyclones rarely form in the South Atlantic Ocean due to cooler water temperatures. In fact, Cyclone Katarina in 2004 was the only recorded hurricane-strength storm in the South Atlantic. On the other hand, Filipinos eat typhoons for breakfast. Singapore and Malaysia are also largely saved. This is what you say to someone who leaves the door open after coming in. It is too much fuss for not closing a door. Do you have any better ideas for your country? The regions with almost the same forest area in square kilometers. Africa has a lot of desert, so it ranks low in forest cover. The whole of Europe and Africa combined have the same forested area as that of South America and Russia. Russia has a total area of 17 million square kilometers, and out of that 8 million are forests. Brazil is the second most forested country. Suriname has the highest share of land covered by forest, with 97.4% of its area consisting of forest. Guyana has 93.6% forest cover, while Gabon stands at 91.3%. This is a map of the historic distribution versus the present-day distribution of the African lion. The lions were found in the whole of Africa, the Middle East, and South Asia, but their population has reduced to a few fragmented areas in Africa and Western India now. This was the world according to Christopher Columbus. When Columbus left Spain in 1492, he had a plan to seek a western trade route to India and China. He wasn't aware of the presence of a new continent. A map of the nearest capital city in Europe. Crimea belongs to Moldova now. Helsinki is definitely the winner. There is a difference between solar time and standard time in different countries. The situation in Russia, China, and Alaska is pretty bad. The whole of China uses only a single time zone, although it is almost the size of the United States. Similarly, as per its longitude, Argentina should have UTC -4 or -5 time zone. However, it actually uses the UTC -3 time zone. GDP growth prediction for 2023 by International Monetary Fund. Europe seems to be stagnating, while Africa and Asia are on the rise. Closest countries to different areas of Italy. There is a lot of France in there. Gender of countries in the Italian language. The United States and the Netherlands are masculine plural. The Philippines is the feminine plural. The rest of the world seems equally divided between feminine and masculine. This map was proposed by Austria in 1920 to create a European Union with 24 artificially created states. The idea was to mix old nations and dissolve rivalries, but no one listened. Countries with the fastest and the slowest internet in Europe. Denmark has the fastest internet in Europe, while the internet in Bosnia and Herzegovina is the slowest. Travel restrictions for the U.S. government employees for Mexico. Blue shows unrestricted areas, while orange is restricted. Thankfully, Baja California is not restricted. Countries where pit bulls are banned. Pit bulls are considered a dangerous breed of dog. So many countries have laws that prohibit owning pit bulls. This is not a fantasy map, just a map of the Mediterranean, but vertical. Indonesia is so big that you can walk from Portugal to the United States on Indonesia. Denmark is actually Batman feeding its children. A world map based on each country's population. The bigger the population, the more area that country has. India and China are giants, while Russia and Canada have been reduced to mere lines. Number of successful coups in each country in post-colonial Africa. Africa is the land of coups, and Burkina Faso is the king. The countries by their grammatical gender in the Polish language. Most of the countries are feminine in Polish, while stan countries are masculine. Same-sex marriages, countries where people don't agree with their governments. In blue countries, although same-sex marriages are not legal, more people are in favor than against them. In green countries, people agree with their governments that it should be legal. This is a map of the most common foreign ethnicities in the Philippines by province. Chinese is the most common foreign ethnicity in the Philippines. An American continent map from 1540. That was the time when Europeans had little knowledge of what Americas actually looked like, and there was a belief that California was an island. The United States has the highest number of deaths related to cocaine use. This map shows the deaths from cocaine use disorders per 100,000 people in 2019. Argentina is a big country. It is so big that half of Europe can fit inside it. This is a map of coup attempts in the decade of 2020. The orange color shows the successful ones. A map of satisfaction with life. Scandinavian countries, Australia, and New Zealand rank high in satisfaction with life. The most common ethnicity of white Americans in every county. All of the people who identify themselves just Americans have been classified as English on this map. The political position of the dominant political parties in Mexican states. More accurately, it is the political position of the governor of the state. Subdivisions with a blue status. A country or a sub-region has a blue status if it has a GDP per capita of at least $8,300 and a life expectancy of at least 72.5 years. This is a map of the percentage of the black population by county in the United States. It is interesting to note that in 1900, almost 90% of the black population lived in the South. Now, the number is close to 60%. Overall, Mississippi has the highest African American population percentage at 34.8%. Different wolf packs were tracked for 9 years in Voyageur National Park. The map shows how much wolf packs avoid each other's range. The wolves were GPS tracked, worn as collars. Wolf packs choose the size of their territory so that it has enough prey to support their nutritional needs, but at the same time it is small enough so that the pack can easily defend it. It means that the packs in areas close to the Arctic need larger territories than in southern areas where prey is more abundant. Territories can also change seasonally or year to year. A map of the places in the U.S. named after cities in Spain. As you all know, the Spanish arrived in the Americas before the British, and a lot of what is now the United States was actually Mexico. So a lot of cities in the U.S. have Spanish names like Los Angeles and Las Vegas. But there are also cities and towns in the U.S. named after different cities in Spain, probably named by Spanish explorers. These names remind us of the strong Spanish influence in the history of the United States.